What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, subscribe. If you're returning or if you're new, doesn't matter, smash a like and let's get on with it. So one of the most anticipated launches of the year is finally here, guys. We've got the prize for you, my take in terms of whether to FOMO, whether to chill out for a little bit. So all of that's coming up, guys. And then I've got an interesting addition to the video where I will give you some projects and try and rank them as they are today. So very, very important video. Welcome to the channel, guys, and let's go. So this is one of the most anticipated, of course. Off the grid is finally here. GUNZ token has launched today, and very interesting off the bat, to be honest. When I saw the price, of course, we don't FOMO. We try and look at the situation and see how the chips fall. But this is make no mistake, I mean, this is a quality project that is crypto mainstream in the Xbox, in the PlayStation, everywhere else. So what's the price saying? Now, at the moment, it was as high as, I mean, look, it's 30% down. And of course, I'm not surprised. Valuation fully diluted on the basis of 604 million tokens circulating is currently $44 million. All right. $44 million based on a circulation of 600 million tokens. Now, this is obviously a full total supply of 10 billion. There are awfully lot more tokens to come into circulation. So you got to try and time the market, or not time the market, but time your DCAs as and when you can. Of course, I've already done a video about it. If you haven't seen it, just go and watch, which was a tokenomics update. But yeah, people are DCAing into it. I mean, again, launch price was, I mean, some of the early rounds were like less than a penny. So you can see now people are in incredible amounts of profits, guys. So off the grid, GUNZ's token is out now. My take is it really depends on how you see the rest of the month developing. There is an interesting thing I want to show you here. So if you looked at the bear market bottom, right, which is here, and then if you saw our alts bottoming back in October 2023, which was here, each one of these events was followed with a massive pump based on the fact that the USDT dominance then fell. So right now what we have a situation where dominance is at what, 5.3%, right? And you can see there is a level here which I call the danger zone. But what you're looking at is not a short time frame. I don't want to look at the daily unless I'm really DCAing into something. What you're seeing here is a cross, right, for the USDT dominance. There is also a USDC dominance to consider, but this is what I'm hoping that will happen at some point, because if you look at back in, this was October 23, a collapse in USDT dominance led to the largest altcoin rally. And then over here, if you look at this, most recently, this was the Trump kind of election rally that you saw here. Okay, so that's what we need. We need this to get rejected and come down, so you can actually then DCA with confidence. Now, ultimately, if you look at what we looked at previously on the total crypto market cap, it is actually has bounced towards our zone of interest. So this is very, very clear. Now, there is time, of course, if you are one of these people who are here and now, want the money now. Unfortunately, things are not clear on a macro level. Now, whether we go to 72, whether we go to 74, again, the guy in our Discord, join our Discord, guys, because Carlo and the team are doing incredible stuff. You know, we call this again to perfection. Said it was going to grab liquidity lower, and potentially that's where we're heading. But if you're like me, if you're a macro investor, forget about all these things. Enjoy some of the opportunities that are here now, because there will be one or two more crazy rallies happening. Bitcoin at 84K right now. Guys, block out the noise. Just dollar cost average into your bags. If we see 72, 74, 76, doesn't matter. I'm looking to take advantage of the market as we continue to bleed. And then once this is over, we will then start selling on the way up. So here's a quick list for you guys. I've made something which is it's kind of updated in a way, and I am missing a couple of more projects, but I promise I will add those. What am I missing? Let's see if I have. Yeah, pretty much everything should be there. Everything should be there. So let's add. Yeah, let's put Bitenso in there as well. Okay. So in this video, what I'm going to do is try and give everyone a sense of where my headspace is. All right. So there's going to be in this list, there's going to be projects that I accumulate and I hold, and I come back as hard as I can to actually hold these. So these are called what I call the super tier or multi-cycle. Let's say last time out, if you were around and you wanted to have a render, if you wanted to have a Solana. So this is the type of, I believe, moving forward, this super tier would be those projects that are multi-cycle. A-lists are kind of stars here and now. They are going to be doing whatever they're going to be doing. And then, of course, we've got some B-Tech guys who could go either way, right? It's just that reliable B-Tech. And, of course, then we've got real rising stars and then fake news, okay? So I'm not going to include everything. Rising stars, I think it's quite interesting. I'm already going to do this very quickly. So anyway, guys, here's where my headspace is, okay? So we're going to start with the super cycle. I think the first project here is Sui or Sui, whatever you want to call it. I genuinely believe that the cycle Sui for Sui is not this one alone. I know we're doing very well with it. I know we're still up, 200-300% on it from the entry that we made. But I do believe that the ultimate, like if you held this and the market went to shit and you continue to hold, you could stay here with it for the next, 5 years. Because ultimately, if you've never used Sui and you've never really seen the technology, then it is really difficult to understand how this is the Apple of crypto. Now, what the staggering thing here is is basically the speed of transactions, and there's no latency. I mean, when gaming really starts to flourish here, gaming and AI, the Move programming language is something else, guys. It's absolutely, completely, and utterly different. I feel the difference sometimes when I'm transferring crypto into exchanges. Again, if you've got a single sign-on, if you've got obviously a lightning speed, then you're going to have a blockchain that could literally revolutionize the way we do crypto. So this one is not a drill. Definitely. This is something that I believe will have its longevity in the game. Now, of course, it's already running today, but if you wanted to, you could DCA into Sui. Although my headspace is the ecosystem is way more undervalued than the layer one. So if you look at for example, and I will talk about some of these projects. If you look at these projects, they're way more undervalued than the layer one, which is running around that $7 billion market cap. All right. Beautiful chart. Reminds me of Solana's early charts for $2.40. And I do believe that this one is one to keep. If this is going to go, like here's what I'm thinking. If this goes to 20 bill to 50 bill this cycle, yeah, fair enough. Okay. But this is meant to be, in my opinion, a $100 billion cryptocurrency, right? It is as simple as that. So whether it gets there this cycle or not is debatable. But what I would say is, could we potentially even see 10x from here? I think so. I think 5 to 10x for Sui is not out of the question. So if you guys are holding any Sui, it is a super project. It is a multi-cycle project. I would definitely continue to hold. Okay. The next token up is one of my favorite dexes in terms of where it sits and where it could potentially go in the future. But for now, we're going to put this as a reliable steady eddy in the BTech. And that doesn't mean, you know, as a BTech project, you know, it's shit. What it means is they have just gone into the stablecoin business. Okay. So Aerodrome Finance, to where it is right now, will not do anything until ETH as an Ethereum layer 2. When ETH moves, this will move, guys. All right. I do still see 10 to 20x in this bad boy. And it is obviously now adding more stable coins. I think that pivot is needed. Everywhere you go, swap deposit, take to the skies. Aerodrome is a decentralized exchange. Low cost fees over there in the base ecosystem. Okay. It's a BTech, you know, it's not, what I would say is DEXs normally have their moments. Okay. So as far as the DEX is concerned, for me, and as much as I love everything else, I think base will go absolutely bonkers once Ethereum breaks out of its current current challenges. So Aerodrome Finance, guys, 300 mil, 10x to 3 bill, that's doable. Possibly more. I mean, in terms of the current dip, this is actually, it was holding 50 cent for a very long time. So I do believe that it is a BTech that's going to become an A-list at some point. But for now, BTechs have, up to 20x on potential. And I would say that is definitely something to consider. Next one, okay, is Cetus aitech. Now, I would put this as a rising star, okay? And the reason why is because aitech, from the beginning, okay, they've obviously, we've made some money with it, but then we rode it all the way back down. Now, why do I rate aitech at these lows? That is because it's one of the most bullish projects without a major listing. At $30 million market cap, $39 million, 52 FDV, okay? So they have been building, I have talked about this several times. I believe when you pick a rising star, you've got to take a collective of things. Now, most people don't actually know they've bridged over to base. So there is now a base contract as well as the BNB contract. Now, the base has, of course, very, very low holders. And again, we have come from the all-time high, 49 cents here about a year ago, 13th of March, when all the altcoins topped due to the Bitcoin dominance and, of course, USDT dominance falling massively in that alt season. We are definitely back to the lows, and this is why I do believe when the market comes back, Cetus aitech will be a rising star. Okay. Next one is alephium. Now, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, okay, put alephium in fake news, rising star." I think. Listen, Alf's had one of the hardest runs. In terms of the, for me, actually suffering as a direct consequence of my success in Kaspa, okay? But what I've noticed is this. Right now, $38 million, 75 FDV. The team is working, but there is, of course, a market-wide depression. Now, is this purely a market-wide issue, or is this something more sinister? Now, there've been some FUD that's been going through on the likes of X, and I haven't seen anything to the contrary. So I would say this could be a rising star, but it's also not too far from, at the moment, until we get further news, of becoming a relegation candidate. Okay. So for now, because the community holds it, we hold it. We see the team is doing fantastic. Ideally, this project should be really by now be sitting at BTech. And the reason for that is because the team is relentless. You know, they've just had another building hackathon. So I don't see overall why the market conditions, once they turn, this project wouldn't do well. But the FUD is just doesn't help anyone. You know, it was saying there was insiders wallets selling this. And hey, guys, treat crypto like a startup. Don't give a shit about you know, whatever. You've got to treat it like a startup. And right now, this business is not performing well. So is this business, but they are both rising stars, in my opinion, purely because they've got fantastic teams that are pumping things out. Alephium could do with better marketing. Alephium could do with learning from AI tech, I believe. But right now we are in a very, very difficult situation. But I would say this is definitely a rising star. So give it some time to marinate and then things will take off. Now, the next one is a A-list, and that's Beam. Now, if you obviously don't know what Beam is, Beam came out of Merit Circle, and Beam have something called the Beam SDA kit. This is what I would consider potentially moving forward based on the treasury and the DAO that they have, based on what they are doing. I believe the Beam chain, the Beam ecosystem is set to be one of the most important in crypto gaming. Okay, so this is no, like, you know, it's not like your Mickey Mouse project that has, you know, that this is a real crypto juggernaut, and this used to be comfortably over $1 billion, and I do believe right now it's way undervalued. So Beam is something that I would consider holding. And of course, you know, the Beam network, they've got obviously connecting, you know, their SDK kit for game developers is one of the best. Now, the interesting thing about Beam is looking at the current price and market cap is very much one of the most attractive. If this dips below 7 again, I think all hands are, or all bets are off. I would buy this like there's no tomorrow. I really would. Now, of course, you'd say 52 billion and all of that. There is token burns, but don't forget they're armed with a $200 billion treasury. Sorry, $200 million treasury, $250 million to be exact. So Beam right now is in a beautiful space, and I do hope it comes down more so we can load up. Beam could easily become a multi-tier, of course, rebranded for Merit Circle. But I do love Beam. So Beam is a very good project to definitely have. Okay, next one is Cetus protocol, and Cetus is going to get a rising star, possibly be a B tech, meaning that the tech is fantastic and it could go, it could have a rapid growth. But for now, so the thing about Cetus is this, okay? Central liquidity hub for SWI. Now, if you believe in SWI, then Cetus protocol around that $70 million market cap is buy and hold and forget, in my opinion. $71 million, fantastic DEX. Of course, there is also Turbo's Finance, which is more risky. I believe Cetus protocol is definitely the comparing this to Beam. Comparing this to the likes of Jupiter, it's unbelievable. The valuation, if you think SUI is going to run, then I do believe Cetus is a project that you could hold. Luckily, I got into this around 4.5 cents. Has come down and may come down further as we go through this current rally. But I do love Cetus protocol, and I think this will be, you know, similar to what PancakeSwap and, you know, those kind of projects have done. When you compare this to the likes of Uniswap, it's way undervalued. Again, guys, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Number one DEX for, you know, last week, it had more volume than Uniswap at one point. So you've got to take that into consideration. Again, you've got to do some further research. Cetus would be a rising star going into a B tech, potentially going into an A-list DEX. for Sui. Now, this next project is it's a project by the name of Geonet. I'm actually going to put Geonet as it's a rising star, but I think it's a lot more than that. All right. Let's put this as a rising star for now. Now, what I would say is, for those of you, I mean, I've posted a buy alert for this at sub $10 million. But this is the strongest, one of the strongest DEPIN plays that you could ever see. You know, if this collapses or if the market pulls back again, it's on the Polygon chain. This could be this cycle's helium. And I genuinely mean that. This has got a grayscale, grayscale list. It is absolutely ridiculous technology. And again, you can buy a station, you can stake, it's backed by the likes of Animoca brands. This is absolutely incredible. This is one of the best projects outside of the big exchanges. And I don't think it'd be too far or too long before you see this on a Binance or a Coinbase or something like that. Why is that? That's because it has a working product in precision, in terms of being DEPIN, of course, precision mapping, and of course, it's attracting large investments as well. Okay, Multicoin Capital have just obviously put an $8 million round of investment, and they've got real things, real projects. Africa is rapidly building infrastructure, and Geonet is already making an impact. And of course, they have a team in South Africa here delivering centimeter level precision to key industries like agriculture, guys. So make no mistake about it. It may not be the fanciest or the most sexiest project to talk about, but hey, do your further research and thank me later, because comparing this to helium, right? This has, I mean, in terms of like a lot of these DEPIN projects are very much what I consider to be fake news anyway. They have no real utility. So if you look at helium, it's up $500 million. It won't be too long before you see Geonet at around those levels. Satellite reference stations. It comprises satellite reference stations known as satellite miners, and these receive signals from global navigational satellites or GPS. And of course, they receive signals. The received signals are uploaded via the internet into these devices, and then these go into the stations. This is a gem. This is an absolute gem. And again, those in my community who bought this with me under $10 million right now are laughing all the way to the bank, because I never even took any notice. I bought this on decentralized exchange using Polygon, and I just kept it there in the background. Didn't realize how it was going to grow. So this one is a fantastic project. Geonet gets I'd probably say this is going to go into an A list very soon. Next one is Gunzilla Games. I would probably put this as a list. Of course, we just talked about it today. It's just been launched, but purely because of the hype surrounding it, the quality of the game, I think this is going to be a fantastic cryptocurrency. Next one is Kaspa. I do believe once all things settle, I do believe people will see the true potential of Kaspa as a multi-cycle play. Okay, now I'm going to give you some more rising stars here. I think for those of you who don't actually own any RWA projects, there's a project by the name of Leox. It's been around before. It's tried different things, but I think this time they've got the niche absolutely spot on. And Leox is a RWA play, Galileo protocol, and it's one of those. I mean, it could go 100x potential to $2.6 million, or it could go the other way. Very, very risky. So I would just put this as a potential rising star. Okay. Another rising star that could go towards crazy levels is Lo-Fi. If you believe in Sui, if you're holding Cetus, I believe Lo-Fi at these lows will definitely make you a lot of money. Next one is Yeah, here is a Mavia. Guys, at 12 cents, if you never bought this at 12 cents, then forget it. Because Heroes of Mavia has all of a sudden become one of the most stable projects in the entire market. And it was pumping like absolute insanity. So, you know, congratulations to me for holding this. Again, congratulations to anyone who DCA'd. The market will pull back, but this is now sitting at a level respectfully below $1, and the chart you can see here has completely decimated. But at one point, this was at 12 cents, 11 cents, you know, 11 cents. So right now, if you bought 11 cents, you know, you're chilling. But again, there's a lot more risk. So it could be a potential rising star and potentially maybe even do nothing and get relegated and become fake news. But right now, it's going to be a rising star, in my opinion. Monad, we still need to see Monad. I would say Monad will probably go straight to the A list. It is a big project that needs to come out. And of course, Say is going to get relegated as potentially because of Monad. That competition is going to be very stiff. One that I really like that is a solid technology with a very high TVL is Morpho. Morpho is, again, has a massive TVL. And of course, you can actually get Morpho on base. It's a crazy project. Check it out. I mean, I do think that I would put it as B-Tech now. Tech is good. But at the moment, people that haven't really truly discovered what Morpho is, please do your do your further research. Next one is Pepe coin. Now, I do believe Pepe coin, of course, is a rising star that would potentially, if they do the token burns, I know it's tied up to basedai as well, but I think Pepe coin is so undervalued. I think you should check this out. Next one is prop base. Now, the tech is good. I do like this. $10 million market cap, RWA play, could do crazy numbers. Prop base, I think, is a rising star for sure. Probably put it as a, you know, technology is decent, but yeah, let's keep it as a rising star. And, you know, eventually it would maybe move up to something else. Next one is Kai Network. Kai Network is a very good project, proof of work, solid technology, very good stable coins. But right now it's kind of too new to see where it could go potentially price-wise. But what I would say is, because it's been launched, because it's there, and it literally coming off a hot press, I would think, based on the technology, which is what I've seen, it's a solid tech. Now, can that solid tech become an A-list, or could it maybe perhaps be a rising star? Time will tell. But for now, I'll just put solid tech. Okay. Next one is Say. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to put Say as kind of, I'd probably say, Say's a large layer one with big market cap, but Monad is taking the shine. So I'm switching my Say back at some point to Monad. So I'd probably say I would be slowly DCAing out of Say and maybe going into Monad, or maybe put the money into somewhere else. But definitely the time for Say has come, only because on chain, they absolutely do nothing. You know, there's not a lot of activity on there. Having said that, they do have money. So perhaps, you know, let's see what that does. But I would probably put it as you know, for now, I'll just keep it around these levels here. It is an A-list project because of the market cap. Next one is Walrus storage, brand new launch on Sui. Very good technology, but is the demand going to be there? And then I have Zai Games. Now, the thing about this one that confuses me is, first of all, thanks to Elon Musk, you can't even find them on Twitter now. Okay, XAI is a project that has so much promise, but the chart has been completely decimated, and definitely you will not find anybody making any content on it. But what it does is it has a good infrastructure. It's on Arbitrum. I do believe there's something at these lows to sniff at. Okay. because ultimately they had horrendous tokenomics. The tokenomics have improved vastly, and now the price has completely crashed. But the volume is excellent. The volume is very, very good compared to some other projects. And I do believe that, look, $45 million volume, $63 million market cap, 94 million fully diluted. It is actually competing with the likes of Beam, IMX as an infrastructure play. And of course, probably where the inflation comes from is the crazy amount of nodes that they had previously. So guys, put this one on your radar. You ain't got to love the project. You just have to make money in it. As simple as that. So XAI for me is a B-Tech. It's, I'd probably say, in terms of the infrastructure and everything else, the only thing that I don't like is the marketing. So if they can actually put a bit more fake news out, it would help. And of course, the quality of content creators within the ecosystem is absolute garbage. There's nothing. Guys, you might think, yeah, YouTubers are not great or whatever, but we need people to make content on projects. When I was doing the research, could hardly find anything. Then we have Peak. Peak is an A-list, in my opinion. Peak could actually be even considered as a multi-cycle, but for now, based on the level of partnerships and all the things they're doing, the Crest community is not happy with Peak, okay? So if you hear FUD, you're going to hear it from the Crest community for the airdrop, because everybody was conditioned to doing that. Now, 14% rise. Guys, it is a DEPIN layer 1. It is a tremendous project with potential. The only thing is, right now, 6 months post TGE, tokenomics weren't really that great, but the list of community and partnerships is immense, right? So this is something that I would say becomes a multi-cycle layer 1. Still does very well this cycle. I believe this is an A-list, A-tier project. Of course, with Tensor Tau, there's no need to talk about this. It's going straight to the Champions League finals. And then we have Rising Star in Riz. Where is my... That is a potential 50x cryptocurrency. I can't see my Reploy, but Reploy has been decimated. I will just use... let me just use EOS. Reploy is a very, very good project. So there you have it, guys. Again, if you wanted to, like, for example, look at stuff like XRP. I mean, these come as default anyway. But there we have it, guys. There we have it. It is absolutely important to obviously put some perspective into what I'm saying here. You do your list. None of this is financial advice. But because right now, no one's even making content like this anywhere on YouTube. People are just, oh, the market is down, and it's so daily focused. I'm here for a multi-cycle. All right. In the bear markets, I like to buy what I call the A-list here, superstars, of course. And then, of course, speculate and degen based on the risk. I hope you liked the video, man. It took some time and effort in making it. At least give me a like. Don't be so stingy. It's just a like button, man. Take care, guys. Let me know out of the list what you're looking at. Of course, I could have done more. Of course, there are some projects that are not there at the moment. But overall, it is important to consider what you want to do long term. Get your head out of the sand. Look around you. See what you want to hold long term. And then we will absolutely connect again. Take care, guys.